Today's program is based on the Algor-Win program. The Algor-Win program was a program that was put together in 2023. And basically, for those of you who have known me for a long time, know that I have been basically working with real estate agents now for 25 plus years. And always very focused on why is it that some agents have massive success, make hundreds of thousands of dollars per year, and others seem to do all of the right things and still end up having lackluster results. So with that, over basically a 2-year period, I built the Algor-Win program, and it really came down to studying super high performing real estate agents, like what makes the ones that are doing $10 million a year or more in business. What is it that they're doing? What are the tasks that they're doing on a regular basis to have massive success? So I want to, for anybody that does not already have the Algor-Win materials, if you could download those at laerrealty.com/Algor-Win is where you can get the booklet. You can download a PDF version of it. One of the reasons I love the PDF version of it is because you can download it PDF, and then it has clickable links throughout the whole workbook. There's also a place on there if you want to buy like the hard copy of the book. We can send you a professionally printed version of the book. Also, as we move forward, this is a 12-week program on how to dig into the Algor-Win system. And each week after the program, I will post our most recent video. So you could see the entire agenda at laerrealty.com/12-week Algor-Win. That is where you will see the agenda for each week, as well as the past recordings. This week, what we're going to really focus on is part 1 of the book. So that's why you want to have the Algor-Win materials available so that you can take notes right on your book as you're going through the program. I always say knowledge is not power, execution is power. So your ability to get to this book, we say if you follow everything we talk about in this book, which is step-by-step instructions, you will get to 30 transactions per year. And that is our goal through the next 12 weeks, to get you to a spot that you're regularly producing a lot of sales. So this week we're going to go through what is Algor-Win. We're going to go through a complete overview of the system, why algorithms work in business, and we're going to talk about systems, checklists, process, etc. And we're going to spend some time covering what are the traps. Does every single real estate agent that completes the Algor-Win workbook get to 30 transactions? Absolutely not. And the reason all lies in the traps. So what is it that's preventing people from getting through the program? By the way, as I mentioned, when you have the PDF version of the Algor-Win workbook, when you download it, so even if you have a hard copy of the book, I would still download the PDF version because I love this table of contents, because you can click through and get right to the section that you're interested in each week. As well, if you go to laerrealty.com/Algor-Win, you can print out some of the sheets that you're going to be using regularly, like the tracking sheets that we'll speak of. So I want to dig right into what Algor-Win is all about. What, first of all, is an algorithm? An algorithm is a sequence of instructions typically used to solve a specific problem. So that's just what an algorithm is in general. A success algorithm. There is an algorithm for success when it comes to building a real estate business. If certain procedures and steps are performed on a yearly, monthly, weekly, and transactional basis, success is guaranteed. Agents that wish to increase results simply need to increase the steps taken, thereby increasing the results. This system was developed by studying the processes of high-performing real estate agents over a 20-year period. Now, specifically regarding the tasks that we talk about in this program, roughly 3 years ago, we had a massive mastermind, two huge mastermind groups that I put together. Everyone that was invited to the mastermind group was an agent producing at a minimum of $10 million a year in business. And at those two masterminds, we gave them a document to fill out where it talked about what are all the things you do on a yearly, monthly, and weekly basis on a transactional basis. So when you get a listing or when you get a sale, what are all the things that you do? And by pulling all of that information together from about 50 high-performing agents, what we saw was a massive pattern. There's certain things that all of them do. Of course, there are always things that some of them do. Some of them buy leads. Many don't. Some of them have killer transaction management teams. Some of them don't. So what the success algorithm was built off of was simply focusing on the items that all of them use to execute in their business. We took out all the extra stuff that just some of them do, and we really focused on what is it that all high-performing real estate agents do. And with that, we came up with an algorithm for winning in real estate, hence Algor-Win. So if you complete 100% of the steps in the Algor-Win system, you can expect to close 30 real estate transactions a year and maybe even more. However, most real estate agents don't complete every single item on the Algor-Win yearly, monthly, weekly, or transactional checklist, and that's totally fine. Hey, maybe you don't want 30 plus transactions a year. Maybe you're super happy if you close 10 transactions a year. Doesn't matter. Follow the algorithm and you will see massive results in your business. The Algor-Win system is comprised of a series of checklists. So there is a yearly checklist, a monthly checklist, and a weekly checklist. And then there's transaction checklists. What to do when you have a new buyer appointment, a new seller appointment. What do you do when you have a new listing? And we're going to talk about people appreciation events because you have to have a level of incorporating people appreciation events into your business. Don't worry. These are not long or complicated checklists. They are super short. The longest of the 7 checklists we go through in this program, the longest checklist is 12 items. All the rest are 9 items. So once a year, there's a yearly checklist of 12 items on the list, and all the other checklists have 9 simple items that must be repeated in order to achieve success. So I do want to give a shout out to a book that helped influence much of this. The shout out is for a book called The Checklist Manifesto. It is a book by Atul Gawande, and it explores the power of checklists in improving efficiency, reducing errors, enhancing performance across all kinds of industries. And ultimately, it demonstrates that even experts benefit from structured guidance, and embracing checklists can lead to better decision-making, improved teamwork, and massive success. What was super interesting is when evaluating all the high-performing real estate agents, the ones that were doing $10 million a year or more, all of them were working off a very finite, a very small series of things that they were doing day after day, transaction after transaction, nothing complicated. This is nothing, I don't want anybody to think like, hey, I'll never get there because I don't have this or I don't have this. Every single high-performing real estate agent works off of very simple checklists in their business. By the way, you guys already are working off of checklists. You guys are already using checklists in your morning routine. There's certain things you do every morning. Your health routine. Maybe you go to the gym 3 times a week. You're working off a checklist for chores, food shopping, after school activities with your kids. Whoops. Basically, checklists are they're part and parcel of literally everything that you do in your business. Hold on. I just lost there we go. So you guys are already working off of checklists, but and not only that, just in business as well, there's checklists for marketing. There's checklists when you make phone calls. You have a checklist when you do a listing appointment, such as your listing presentation is a checklist. Your seller presentation is a checklist. You have a checklist for your open houses. When you do event planning, new listing appointments, every transaction has a checklist. Now, one thing I want you to think about is that you are a byproduct of your checklists. So you already are implementing checklists in your business and your life, and you don't even realize it. They're just things that you kind of check off in your head. When I wake up, I'm going to brush my teeth, check my emails, have breakfast. There are things that you're already doing on a checklist. You just don't even realize that you're doing it. That's what we want to build into your real estate business is say, hey, what do the checklists look like for high performing real estate agents? And how do I become that person so that all of it becomes secondhand? Like, hey, I forgot I have a checklist when I wake up every morning, or when I go to bed at night, I have these things I do. So how do we get it so that our business, we build these super powerful checklists so that we avoid mistakes, so that life becomes so simple? Like I said, you guys aren't thinking about when you wake up, hey, I need to pull out a piece of paper and go through my items that I have to get done for my morning routine. No, we don't want it. Right now, you'll need that for the Algor-Win program. But the goal is most of the high performing real estate agents didn't even realize that they are working off of powerful checklists. And you can see what a person's checklist is when you look at them, because our checklists are who we become. So high performing real estate agents, they're working off of really high performing checklists. Checklists prevent mistakes. The best checklists are super simple. We don't want you to have to think about. That's why none of the checklists we're going to talk about are super long. There's not 100 items that you have to do. There's 9. So we want you to just incorporate those so that your success becomes so simple. Checklists improve communication and teamwork. They help manage massive, complex situations. Any of our staff at LAER will tell you our entire company is built off of process and protocols. Process and protocols. And what is a process and a protocol? It is checklists. And then the best thing about checklists is they're super adaptable. What I mean by that is one of the things that I sometimes say to real estate agents, they'll be like, I'm heading to a class on how to overcome objections in my business. Here's the thing I want you to think about is that if you are having to overcome an objection in a listing presentation or a buyer presentation, then go improve your checklist. When you have to overcome an objection in your business, that is because you didn't speak about whatever that item is. Go improve the checklist. That's one of the reasons that high performers are high performers, because over time they realize like little mistakes happen or things don't work quite as they want it to in their business, and then they go change up the checklist. Now, again, if you ask most high performing real estate agents, because I did it with 2 huge groups, 2 huge mastermind groups of real estate agents producing over $10 million. When you ask them, do you have a checklist? They go to like what they perceive as a checklist, which is like a transaction checklist. Yeah. When I go on a listing appointment, I have a list of forms I get. That's not what we're talking about here, although that's a checklist too. We're talking about the steps that they take on a regular basis, the tasks they perform in order to achieve massive success. One of the reasons why checklists are so important to your success is they take chaos and build it into order. So there's so many important pieces to this. Your business right now might look a little bit like this. Hey, when I get a listing appointment, I kind of scramble. And every listing appointment looks a little different. Every buyer appointment looks a little different. Every customer communication looks a little bit different. That is not the case with high-performing real estate agents. For high-performing real estate agents, a listing presentation today looks like the listing presentation tomorrow. That looks like the listing presentation the next day. It is order. They turn chaos of all the things that could go into a listing presentation and they create order. So not only does it create a system for your success, but when you look at this, the chaos versus order, this is also what it does to your brain. So all of us have all this stuff, all this junk running around in our brains on a daily basis. When you start working off of checklists, what happens is you start to create order for all the thoughts that you have on a regular basis. So why is that important? The biggest reason, there's many reasons why you want to start creating order all around you. That includes your environment, but your environment will become more orderly as your thoughts become more orderly. You'll start to see the value of processes, systems, i.e. checklists in everything you do, because it is peace. It brings you peace. Most important, the difference between chaos versus order when it comes to your thoughts is that we are transmitters of energy. Your success as a real estate agent, and this is the biggest reason that I think I started today and I said, why is it that some real estate agents seem to do all the right things, but they never get the results? And then you have high performers doing $10 million a year in business, $250,000 in annual gross income. They make it look easy. What is the difference? It is because the higher performers have order in their thinking, and order breeds energy. And your energy will predict the amount of business you do. You are either attracting business or you are throwing it away. You are not attracting. You are always in a state of attraction or not attraction. High vibration attracts good stuff. Low vibration does not. So by working on order, turning our chaos, turning chaos into order, we start creating really good energy for our business. So a couple things to think about. There are 7 important checklists within the system. How simple is that? It is like so easy to get to a massive level in your business. The 7 Algor-Win checklists you'll become super familiar with very quickly. There's a yearly checklist, a monthly, and a weekly checklist, as well as a new seller appointment, a new buyer appointment, a new listing when you get a new listing, and people appreciation event checklist. Now, as in everything in life, sequencing matters. And that's why of all the checklists we'll talk about, the first one is the most important, which is the yearly checklist. That is the checklist you only do once a year. Once a year, you go through and do these 12 items and you're done for the year. So that one affects all the other checklists because that one comes down to setting yourself up for success for the rest of the year. And so that one checklist kind of affects all of the other checklists. There is no daily checklist. So this is not a program that says every day you must wake up and do these 10 things. We're not doing that. We will say once a week, these are the list of the things, the 9 items you should get done each week. Now, we don't have a daily checklist because the daily checklist could potentially set you up to fail, because we know that each day is when the business gets completed. It's when you're going on a home inspection, showing properties, going on a listing appointment. That's the days in which the work gets done. All we know is that each week certain tasks need to get done. Doesn't matter how you schedule it, but schedule it within those days. You predict how the days will work. You create your own daily checklists based on what needs to get done each week and each month. So let's talk for a second about repetition. This entire system is built on repetition. You will do the same 9-step checklist each month and another 9-step checklist each week. You will have a 9-step checklist for new listings, seller appointments, buyer appointments, and people appreciation events. You will do the same steps over and over to the point that they become natural habits that drive your business. Why? Because we want this to be just like when you wake up and get ready in the morning, you're not thinking about it. You're not thinking about the fact that I have to go brush my teeth, I have to make breakfast, I have to check my emails. You're not thinking about it. You have just things that you have to go execute on. So I love these 2 quotes. Repetition is the mother of learning, the father of action, which makes it the architect of accomplishment. Repetition is the architect of accomplishment. Whatever you repeat is what you will succeed at. This is why high performers, agents doing $10 million a year, they continue to do $10 million a year. By the way, it is a fact that in our industry, most people will do within a 10% variance. Most real estate agents will do within a 10% variance of the business they did last year. Why? Because they're used to doing the same thing over and over. So as you think about that, as you feel yourself resisting some of the items in the checklist, I want you to think about that repeating what you did last year will get you right to where you were last year. If you want something better for your business and your life, you have to think about changing the things you're repeating. And also, repetition makes reputation, and reputation makes customers. So whatever you repeat ends up becoming your reputation, and then that reputation is what brings customers. Consistency. The Algor-Win system not only teaches repetition that turns to habit, but it also teaches consistency. The agents that surpass their personal goals each year, they do just a few things very well. They're not doing 1,000 things. This is not something that's out of your reach. All it takes is being super consistent with a few simple items, but you have to be consistent in doing them. Sometimes the checklist that you'll receive or you see in the booklet might seem ineffectual, but each item on the list is there for a reason. They are part of a success algorithm. Of course, you're welcome to try other business building activities, but if it's at the expense of not consistently completing your checklist, you're going to have results that suffer. One of the things you'll note within the Algor-Win system is that we schedule in vacation, personal events, gym. All of this matters because all of this goes towards your energy. And you will see one of the big pieces, and it's almost unspoken throughout the book, but it's worked into the workbook, is your energy matters more than anything. So we are going to turn you into a high vibration transmitter so that you are attracting great people, great business, great energy. Oftentimes, the way that you do that is by scheduling regular personal time, vacation, self-care time. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but have you ever seen super high performing agents that are literally always on vacation? And you look at them and you're like, wait a second, I work my ass off and like I haven't had time for a vacation. I believe that um, we as many real estate agents look at it and say like I have to put all of this work in order to get to a point that I can take lots of vacations. People, if you look at it a different way, in that the more vacation that you get, the more time that you get to spend with your family, the more time you get to do things you love, the more business you will attract. You will be in a high vibration. You will feel good about the business. You will not resent the business when it comes. I was talking 3 weeks ago to a high performing agent, an agent that does $40 million a year in production. And he said, I've been super slow the last 2 weeks. So I told my wife, just book us a vacation to Aruba for a couple weeks. And I was like, wow, that's awesome. Because he knows, he said, first of all, every time I book a vacation, all of a sudden new business comes. Doesn't that always happen, by the way? As soon as you book a vacation, new business literally shows up on your phone. Like, hey, I need to list my house. Why? Because you shifted your vibration. You're in a high vibration mode because you're excited about vacation. And so the business starts to flow. Oftentimes, as real estate agents, we're in a difficult business. The business goes up and down and up and down. What you have to do is figure out how to make sure your energy does not do that. Very, very difficult to do, but this program is going to help you get there. One of the pieces you will see throughout the Algor-Win program is that there is a practice of gratitude. Very interestingly, we have it on the checklist that each week you have to write out the 25 items that you're grateful for. Now, what's very interesting in now seeing real estate agents practice this program over the last year and a half is on the weekly checklist, the one thing that people usually cross off the list each week, they do everything else. They do all the other business building activities, but if they don't have time, they just cut out writing that gratitude list. Okay, you just hurt your business. Gratitude is the fastest way to raise vibration. It takes you out of like this negative energy. If you want to know how to manage your energy in a business that has so many financial up and downs, then the number one way to do that is through gratitude. It is waking up on the hardest days when you have nothing going, when you just lost a listing, and being super grateful. You just lost a customer. It is about being in the moment and saying, I'm so grateful I lost that customer because it just opened me up for more opportunity for an even better customer to come along. Instead, most people go into a spiral down negative vibration. So gratitude shifts focus to positivity. It reduces stress and anxiety. Gratitude improves your sleep, it strengthens relationships, and gratitude enhances your health. Let's talk about some of the traps. Why is it that not every agent that does the Algor-Win program gets 30 transactions a year? That's because there's so many traps. And by the way, there's traps in life. In general, there are massive traps that people run into in life. And anything that prevents you from achieving your goals. Because I'm going to tell you that it is so easy to complete $10 million a year in business if you avoid traps, if you keep your energy vibration up, if you can manage energy and avoid traps, the sky's the limit. Okay, what is the number one trap? Simplicity. things that are easy to do are equally easy not to do. So that's the number one trap is, hey, super easy to do. It's also just equally easy not to do. That's one of the biggest traps of the system. The whole system is so simple that you're like, come on, if I do these 9 items, you're telling me I can get to 30 transactions a year. Yeah, super simple. It's one trap. Okay, this is the most important one. Distraction. Your success will depend on your ability to eliminate distraction. Distraction comes in all shapes and sizes. It could be a shiny new database software that you decide to switch over to. It could be that you stop doing checklists because somebody else in your office just signed up for this new coaching program and they're doing something else. So now you're over here doing something else. It could be just life in general is a distraction. There's so many different distractions each day. Anything that takes you away from these very simple checklists, anything that takes you away, because these are very simple, these are not super time consuming checklists, anything that takes you away from focusing on the checklist is a distraction. By the way, if you'll notice, this little person got stuck in a trap. Do you guys see anything that is also in the trap with him? It is Facebook. So let's talk about that for a minute. It is a huge trap. Okay. So I want to talk about what are the 10 biggest distractions to your business in your life. The number one distraction to your business and to your life is what anyone else is doing. Massive distraction. What is that person doing? What is that real estate agent doing? That person seems to be doing really well in business and they're doing this. That person is doing video. This person is doing a daily post about the community. The number one distraction in your business is what anyone else is doing, A, in their business, B, in their life. It does not affect you. However, too often we get stuck like focusing on what other people are doing. And where is the number one place we see what everybody else is doing in the world but Facebook or social media? So let's talk about what are there's 10 huge distractions to your life. And all 10 of them are what anyone else is doing. It is a distraction. It is a distraction. It is a distraction. It is taking you off of your course. I'm telling you this as a reformed Facebook junkie, that I had to spend time to see what is the other brokerage doing? What are other agents doing? And guess what? None of it matters. Most of it is not true. And it leads to seeds being planted to why what other people are doing is so bad for your life and your business is it plants a seed and prompts, motivates, or inspires you to go down a different path. Like here you are doing your checklist, and then, oh my God, she's doing video. Every single day she's posting about the community. Now you're down a different path. I'm going to go do that as well. It takes you off of your course. Social media plants seeds. The lowest vibrational energy there is comparison. The lowest vibrational energy there is comparison. And by the way, I want you to think of this in 2 ways. Number one, sometimes you feel really good that you're posting stuff about how great your life is. It's a low vibration energy because it's affecting other people potentially in a negative way. It's also low vibrational energy because in order for you to post your stuff on social media, you're probably going to read somebody else's. And then you're going to say, well, I'm not doing quite as good as that person who seems to be doing all these items. And so now you're in a negative vibration. I believe that Facebook is, all social media is the lowest of vibrational energy because it creates a sense of comparison. Does that mean you can't use social media for your business? Absolutely not. Use it wisely and very, very carefully. You must learn to navigate it in a way that it is not affecting your vibration. As a reminder, seeing is not believing, it is only seeing. What you see on Facebook is only what you see. Do not believe it. It is typically not true. By the way, there's other distractions out in the world, but not as bad as the distraction of what everybody else is doing. Hunger is a distraction. Being tired is a distraction. Menial tasks are a distraction. And sometimes even classes are a distraction. If they're not moving you forward towards your goal. By the way, if I could add one other distraction right now, I'd say the other biggest distraction is politics. Like there's nothing good. Go read about it, and but otherwise it's a distraction. It's nothing that can be fixed. There's nothing we can do to make an immediate impact on anything that is happening in the world. So why let it take away from you? So think about how the distractions are influencing your business. Specifically, there's all kinds of information out there on social engineering where we as human beings are manipulated day in and day out by messaging. And Facebook in general, or any social media, is social engineering at an individual level. It is the individual creating their own narration of what they would like the world to believe about them. It does not mean that it is truth. In fact, it often isn't. Another trap is perfection. Done is better than perfect. For some of you, I'm sure some of you here need to hear that. Excuses are a trap. The most important thing I want you guys to all walk away with is your success or your lack of success. It doesn't matter. All of it's your fault. When you guys have massive wins in your business, don't give it's you got that. That was you. That was 100% you. When you fail in your business, you did that. That was 100% you. One of the traps potentially is altering the checklist. So that doesn't mean all I will tell you is that when you alter the checklist in the system, it becomes a different checklist. That's all. So it's no longer the checklist that we created. Just in general, be careful not to let your ego get in the way of your success. Another big distraction is control. Like, I want to control everything. And so over time, you get to a point that there's only so much you can control. So oftentimes people try to do all of the stuff. They don't delegate anything because they think they can do it better, and they probably can do it better, but it makes it difficult to scale a business. Follow-up is also one of the traps of our system. We're going to spend a lot of time talking about different follow-up systems as well. So let's just talk about what these checklists look like, and then I'll take some questions. So basically, it's 7 checklists. The 3 main checklists are the checklist, annual or yearly checklist that you do once a year. There's only 12 items that you do once a year. The second is the 9-step checklist that you do monthly. So this is just a list of 9 things you're going to do once a month. And then there's a weekly checklist, 9 simple things that you're going to do once a week. So the ones kind of get your business up and running so that you start to have some business coming in. But then once business starts to come in, then you need some additional checklists. We have the new listing checklist. So when you have a new, when you get a new listing, because that listing is an opportunity to audition for your next client, a new buyer checklist, a new seller appointment checklist, and then people appreciation event checklist. You'll also note in the program that we have a whole system for tracking your success. The reason for this is because I mentioned that throughout the whole program, there is like an underlying current through this whole workbook that focuses on your energy and your vibration. One of the things that lowers the vibration of many real estate agents is their results. So you're doing all these things, and you don't see the results right away. That is a low vibration. So the reason for the process tracking sheets is what I'm trying to help you move off of focusing on results to focusing on the task. The task is the result. So don't worry right off the bat how many new listings you got or how many buyers you're working with. Just focus on getting the sheet filled out each week. That to you should be your success. All the other stuff will come if you just keep that repetition and consistency. So for each of the checklists, we have a whole process tracking sheet. And for the most part, we say if you do all those things that, if you keep checking the boxes, you can expect to do 30 transactions a year. However, you will see that, and I mentioned this before, that the Algor-Win yearly checklist affects all the other checklists. So if you're not doing the yearly action checklist, then even if you every single day do all 9, or every week you do the 9 items on the weekly checklist, and on the monthly you do all items on the monthly checklist, but you never did the yearly action checklist, then you're not going to have the same results as somebody that did do the yearly action checklist. So most importantly, we want you tracking processes and not results. In that, I want you just tracking on a daily basis the stuff that you are executing on, not how many listings you got and not how many buyers you got. And the reason for that is because the underlying message within this whole process, this whole Algor-Win system, is that your success is a byproduct of keeping a high vibration energy regardless of what's happening in the marketplace. I cannot stress enough that if your energy goes down because the interest rates go up by 2% today, rates are up by 2%. You know how many real estate agents right off the bat, their energy is down. Or something happening in the market, or losing a listing, or all that stuff will throw your energy off so that you are no longer in a high vibration. If you're not working in a high vibration each day, each week, each month, you're not going to have the results. That means you can do everything in this system, but if you're on a low vibration, you are not going to be able to get to 30 transactions a year. It won't be possible in a low vibration state. That's why we've worked items into every checklist to bring the vibration up every single day. So you'll note there's listing and buyer, Algor-Win checklists. I just want to point out that these are not transactional, like these are the documents you need to sign checklists. So that's like a whole other, that's transaction management checklist, which we really don't focus on in this program. I do want you to know that if you substitute certain items, so some agents will say, well, I changed up the program so that I'm doing more of this item, but less of another item on the checklist. Totally fine. It's just a different checklist now. So also, I feel that if you partially complete an item on a checklist, it's the same as not completing the item on the checklist. And then last but not least, you definitely have to work off of a calendar in general. So I will in a later program talk about different ways to organize your days and your weeks and things like that. But right now you can figure it out. You can do it the way you like to do it, but make sure that these items are incorporated into everything that you do. So really quickly, I just want to show you on these, when you look at this, what we're looking at right now is the yearly checklist. So each box is one item. So on the yearly checklist, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12 items on the yearly checklist. And if you line that up to the process tracking sheet, there's 12 little houses that you can check off as you do the yearly items. On all the other checklists, this is the monthly checklist, there's 9 items. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All the other checklists are 9-item checklists. So this is the monthly checklist. We're going to do deep dives into these in the future classes. This is the weekly checklist. So you'll see each week we make you focus on gratitude. So really sitting down and thinking about, because we want to get you into the practice that all of this stuff starts to happen. By the end of the year, you'll be doing all of this just automatically. Once you start doing these things, it all just starts to happen automatically. And then buyer appointment checklist, again, 9 items. A seller appointment checklist, again, each box is an item, so 9 items. You got a new listing, again, we have 9 items. And then we're going to talk about doing events throughout the year. I think you should be doing maybe 4 events. People appreciation events. I won't say just client appreciation event, because in general, you're just going to be appreciating the people that are assisting you in building your wonderful business and life. Okay, so as a reminder, you can go to laerrealty.com/Algor-Win to download all the materials. And each week you can go to laerrealty.com/12-week Algor-Win and see the agenda for the upcoming week. As well, I'll always post the video from the previous week. So this, after this class, I will post this. We'll put it on YouTube, but I'll also post it on laerrealty.com/Algor-Win. Okay, now we have 6 minutes left if anybody wants to raise their hand, and I could take some questions. And let's see how to do this. Sergio told me that if you go to the bottom of your screen, I'm gonna stop sharing for a sec. If you go to the bottom of your screen, you can hit the little heart react button. And if you click on that, there's a place where you can raise your hand. So now first you guys have to figure out how it works, and then I have to figure out how I see that you are raising your hand. So if you have a question, we'll start there.
I guess Sergio just unmuted me. It means that I can ask a question.
Okay, you got it. All right.
I got it. So I've never been as active on social media until I joined LAER, actually, which is 2.5 years ago. The only reason I started doing that because you do provide social media content, right?
Yeah.
And very easy to do, and I really appreciate it. Last year, I took a lot of social media classes, which they teach you how to spend as little time as it possible, so you can schedule in advance. And I'm very active in social media, but I don't spend as much time as it seems. But my question is, so they changed algorithm in social media, and in order being seen, you have to like and comment other people. If you don't, they don't see you. What's your recommendation in this case? It seems like you have to spend time on social media no matter what.
I mean, that's what they say. I don't know. I mean, first of all, I'm sure they say that because they want you to be on social media. They want you to be on social media, like liking and commenting on stuff. From my personal experience, I don't feel that way because I dislike social media so much, but I also have to be on social media. What I find is when I go make a post on my personal page, I get tons of people that like and comment, and I am not regularly on social media in general. Number two, I when I use social media for myself, and I do go on social media each day, mostly because I want to know if something's happening in the life of our agents. I want to know if somebody's getting married. I want to know if somebody lost a pet. I want to know all these things. And unfortunately, the best place to find all that is scrolling through social media. So I have trained myself that I go through and I look for exactly what I want, and then I I usually I very rarely even like or comment on it, but I get the information and then now I have what I need. So I think what my answer is like you can still you just have to like almost write a sign to yourself that whatever the other people are doing, it does not matter and it's fake. Like you cannot let it affect your energy. Because I do agree, you have to unfortunately be on social media to an extent, but but you have to know that what you're seeing is not necessarily real. One of the things I would say you could do for your business is like I do. I look at it as when I see somebody has lost a pet or their kid just graduated from high school. In my mind, I call that a prompting. And so I try to go off of social media. So in other words, the value to me on social media is reading what's happening. And then I take, instead of going and liking or making a comment, I'll do something better. I'll either pick up the phone or I'll send a gift, an acknowledgement, so that it doesn't have to. I think you can use social media to win at the game without letting it affect your energy.
Thank you.
Yes. Sergio, I can't see where I see if somebody is there. Oh, maybe at the top.
You should be able to see it in the list of participants. Diana had her hand
We'll
raised.
take Diana next. Oh yeah, I could see it now.
All right, good.
Hi, thanks, Sergio. I just wanted to ask really quick. I had asked Ashley earlier. I had the Algor-Win system bound, the copy bound last year. I'm just wondering, and I'm sorry, I chimed in a little late. Is it the same exact system? Do I need to reprint it? Is there a newer version?
The only difference is, does yours have page numbers?
I'm sorry, I'm in Chelmsford today. I don't have it with me.
No, hers wouldn't have the page numbers if it was the first version.
Yeah, the biggest thing, first of all, your version is completely fine. The only thing I did on the newest version, which is the one that you would download now, the pages have page numbers, because when I was teaching the classes, it drove me crazy that I couldn't refer people to a page number in the book, and I took out typos, but other than that, there's no massive changes in it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, and we are at 11:30. I want to thank everybody for joining us for our first Algor-Win program. I will post this on YouTube, plus it'll stay live in our groups. And I look forward to seeing you guys all next week. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Stacy.
Thank you, Stacy.